Hello Frugal Force, once again this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty, and I want to talk about three things in today's video. First, second and third. First, CB, next, Dan Slott, and third, Pixels. So first I want to talk about CB. So CB has, become the top dog here at Marvel, and it's been discussed as, is he going to make any changes? Sorry about the noise in the background in my office. Is he going to be making any changes? And I think absolutely yes, and I think we're starting to see them now. Now these changes I believe are going to be what I call stealth changes. They're not going to sit there and broadcast, hey, we're canceling these books, and throw a parade. Instead, they're just going to be more quietly, they're canceled, and then hopefully replaced with something better. So the devil we have versus what could happen, right? So we could never know, it could end up with worse, but I'm thinking a little optimistic here. Also, I want to note that Dan Slott I've been notified that he still has not been on Twitter for weeks now. So I wonder if that is a slap on the wrist. Dan Slott, you need to, fix your social media presence and maybe a timeout. Who knows? I'm being completely speculative there. But it does look like CB is making some changes. And these changes need to be seen and need to be known. And let's look at those. So that brings me to two. And that is Dan Slott as well as a mix with number one. Marvel teases Dan Slott's final Amazing Spider-Man story. As we see here in the CBR article, it says in March, writer Dan Slott kicks off what appears to be his final Amazing Spider-Man storyline in issue 797, the arc titled Go Down Swinging, which is quite fascinating and nice because if you recall, Dan Slott said he was going to write Amazing Spider-Man until the day he dies, write it forever, if you will. I'm paraphrasing that. But he says he wanted to write it forever, so to get him off the title is pretty much pulling him off, kicking and swinging wildly. I don't want to go. And it seems like that is probably what is happening. I can't believe he's removing himself from the title. I believe he's getting removed from the title if this is true. Now, with that said, I'm not wishing him to be fired or anything. I think he needs to be monitored heavily on his social media presence and how he behaves himself, but then maybe move him to a different book. Let's see what he can do, and then let's let the numbers speak for themselves. Because let's be honest, The Amazing Spider-Man has a pre-generated audience. A massive amount of people have been reading Spider-Man for years that don't want to have a hole in their collection. With that said, Spider-Man is also a top-tier character. Henceforth, he should be competing with top-tier books such as Batman, and he's been lucky to sell half as many as that. So the sales have not been good, no matter how much he wants to or Marvel wants to act like they are. For a top-tier title, Spider-Man has been selling rather poorly, with the exception of spikes due to gimmicks. Now, so that means it is time to go. I think he probably should have left after Big Time. A lot of people think, well, after Superior. But, Superior truly, I think that should have been its own book, and Amazing Spider-Man should have continued maybe with another one, which would not have been possible, of course, because, Peter's body was nothing but a meat suit to Doc Ock. And that's maybe some of his best writing, actually. But he wasn't writing Peter, and he's never been really good at writing Peter Parker. I think to him, more it's the costume than the person inside. He just doesn't have the character. Peter Parker really has been unrecognizable as a character for the last decade. So hopefully we'll have a return to form, something like we see at Chip Zdarsky, which has been doing the last couple issues an amazing job with the Spectacular Spider-Man. So maybe we'll see more than that. Also, though, on the move is Iceman is on the way out. So that's another crap book gone. And once again, I wanted Iceman to be good. I like Iceman, but the book was garbage and it was a one-note token book. It looks like America's probably on the out. Gwenpool's going, which that one sort of saddened me. I actually like Gwenpool. It looks like a very high possibility that the Captain Marvel book will be going. Once again, I like Captain Marvel. I like the current costume of that. That's not an issue with me. I just don't like the current book. I don't think she's written in character. I think she's written horribly out of character. So maybe somebody can finally take that book if they're going to do it and write her in character and make another good book. Return her back to form. So that's step two. So once again, we have CB making stealth changes. We have Dan Slott out. And the third one I want to mention is Pixels. I get things in the comments, positive, and I get negatives. Sometimes the negatives are, well, what do you think you're doing? You're only getting 300 or 500 views on this video in your basement. You think you're making a difference. But they neglect to mention the videos that have 5,000 views or 1,000 plus views. They only pick on the ones that only had a few, a couple hundred. So with that, they don't mention the people that come and contact me and say, hey, I started buying this book because I watched your video, or hey, thanks for saving me this money. I was going to buy this and I'm glad I didn't. And there's a lot of other YouTubers out there doing the same. And the reason I want to talk about this is Dan Slott called us all pixels and that we didn't really matter in his eyes. Well, I think we do matter. And I want to ask you, what do you think? I've talked to other YouTubers and they've said the same thing. They've had people in their comments or PM them in personal messages and say, hey, I've started buying this book for you and I really enjoy it. Thank you. Or vice versa. I stopped buying this book, or don't buy this book and save money because, you're showing me before I buy it and waste my money. So I think we're doing a good job, but you let me know in the comments. Do us pixels matter? Are you buying a comic book because of one of the videos that you saw? Or are you not? A lot of us YouTubers, yes, we do talk, we get together, but we don't always agree on everything either, and that's a good thing. We have ones like Comics Division, The Nerd Wonder, Hot Pink Comics, Nightwolf. They're all chugging away, and then we have some other ones like they're doing a little bit better on views. That doesn't mean we're better YouTubers, so give those love, by the way. Like myself, which I have over 1,000 subscribers, which I know is just a drop in the bucket compared to many, but my channel is slowly growing. It's not going like at 100 subscribers a day, but it's growing at like maybe 10 to 15, 20 a day. And we have ones also like Weaponized Nerd Rage also is experiencing some good growth and things like that, and you're helping us along, and we greatly appreciate that. And then we have the next tier up that's around the 5,000 viewer range. That's like Douglas Ernst and I Love Comics. They're also doing their work diligently, showing you some great comics, what maybe they're going wrong, what we're enjoying, what we're not enjoying, giving us some introspective on these comics, talking about the political agenda as well. Mine's a mixed bag all around, all those things. And then we have the ones that are very, very popular for comic books, like Diversity in Comics and Captain Cummings, that draw a lot of attention, and they take a lot of heat too, and they're still fighting through that no matter what. So all of us are working together, because really what we do is we just want good comic books. We do. We don't want the industry to fold. That's not true. We want things to be good, and even if we don't always agree with what's good, that's okay too. We want the industry to be doing good in general. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit like and subscribe, and make sure also to hit that notifications bell. That way you can, be a part of the Frugal Force and help promote these videos and help me continue to spread good message about great comic books. So if you notice, my channel is not all about dissing things and things. Mine's about getting together, the health of the industry, sharing good comics and games, and having a good fun time with the community. So I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, keep it frugal.